So the book I'm currently reading is The Coven Tendency by Hanna Mikuta, and this is a wild ride already, just let me tell you this. But this girl named Vanity is our main character. She has a twin sister named Arrogance, and her sister live with their mother and two other families on this secluded island known as the Museum Island, basically. And these families are witches, and every single day they are put on display for tourists to see, and each head of the family are known as spectacles. And there's a weekly party where each spectacle puts on a play, basically, a show of their magic. Now, witches are known in this universe, but they are known for going like batcrap crazy, that a lot of them are placed into the city sanatorium. However, the reason why these families aren't in the sanatorium is because their magic is special. It has to deal with the natural body. There's the physical body magic, there's the psychological mind magic, and then there's blood magic, which is what Vanity has. And each family has, like I said, the head, but they already know which child is going to be taking over for them when they do unfortunately pass on, and it's never by natural occurrences. So in Vanity's case, she has a twin sister, but they all know that Vanity has the necromancy magic that her mom Cadence has, all because when a witch is born, they're put through the machine so that the main part of their magic is taken out of them. Now, the reason that their magic is literally stripped from them is because there's this theory that when witches are together, they get violent with one another, like extremely violent. And especially during the time of like puberty, where your body's going through so much changes and progression, this is when they get especially crazy with one another. So every witch has to be clear from one another unless they're with their family. And it also found out that the witches from the sanatorium, their magic is taken from them and creates this drug called World. So that's fun. But Vanity has these two other people. There's Clover and Ellis, along with her sister Ro, as like the teens, or like the new generation essentially. And Ellis's father passes on at the beginning of this book, and he has to then take over. Well, we find out that Ellis and Clover were talking to one another by like passing notes, and Clover had asked him to, you know, remember, because that's one thing that this book really does showcase, is that you don't know what's real. You don't know what's going on. Everyone's an unreliable narrator. Even the people who aren't witches, like Monroe and his son Ren, like you can't take their word for it because they're also sprung out, you know? But if you really like Tim Burton, like live action movies, like Sleepy Hollow and Dark Shadows, I feel like this could be a good pick for you. But I do want to preface this because I forgot about it. It does have a trigger warning list at the beginning, and believe me, you need to read it, because I read it, but I forgot. And when this one particular trigger warning subject came up, I was just like, my goodness, but it's all okay. I got used to it, but yeah. Before you come for me for the naked book, if it's a hardback book, I take the dust jacket off. However, that does mean that sometimes I lose the dust jacket, which is unfortunately the case here. It's somewhere in my house. I'll find it later. So now with the introduction of the book out of the way, I will tell you how much I have left to read. I have like, I want to say 170 or 180 pages left of this book. And I have to read that in a span of 2 days, which it can be feasible, but I will say this book is taking me longer to read, even though it's a standalone, because I read standalones pretty quickly. But for some reason, because of the unreliable narrators, and I have to pay attention much more than I would in like a series, which is really weird, but you know what, I'm not angry about it, because it's getting interesting, not gonna lie. I have to pay more attention to it because everything's so unreliable. So when someone says, oh, I have this thought, of me doing this act. No, they actually are acting it out. Like, they're not thinking it, they actually act it out, and you're just like, okay, so I don't know what's real. So I'll pretend this is a fever dream. And I really don't have any predictions like I typically do when it comes to reads. I can guess a plot twist like a mile away. Like, I feel like that's my superpower. That's my talent that I have as a reader. And that's why I was put on this universe. But no, not really. But I really don't have any like theories except for one. I'm thinking that arrogance and vanity are like the good and bad of human beings. So that's my one theory, but I mean, what do I know? Like, they're thinking of this act and they end up doing it anyway. So I'm like, what do I know? What do I know?
I am just 30 pages away from my goal for the night. Also, look how cute this bookmark is. I think it fits perfectly. But yeah, 30 more pages. We got this.
I am also setting a timer on my computer to see how long it actually takes me. So let's just aim for like 30 minutes. Let's just see.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Hi, hello. I have already filmed my final thoughts for this book. However, I don't feel like I was articulate enough with getting my point across on how this was a great read. Like, don't get me wrong. I do feel the message that Zoe Hanna Mikuta, I believe that's the name, wanted to convey. And I read the acknowledgments just to make sure, because I know every reader has a different interpretation of a piece of literary work, but I just wanted to see what she wanted to convey to her audience. And I definitely see how she wanted to convey the message about people pleasing and imposter syndrome, basically, and the people pleasing cycle of wanting to constantly please people, even though they're hurting you, and then you realize that they hurt you, so you defend yourself. And whether their reaction is like, oh, I don't like care about you pleasing me or like giving you satisfaction, versus like, oh wow, you saying that really hurt me. And then you as a person are like, I didn't mean to hurt you, like, I'm so sorry. And it's like, you can hurt me back, like that constant toxic relationship cycle. And then the other side of imposter syndrome with vanity, everyone like building her up on how she's this like great creature, like great specimen to look at, and she's gonna be the next great necromancy spectacle. And she herself is just so weighed down by the like, she sees her mother and she's not fearful of her mother and what her mother is capable of, but she is fearful of what she's going to become, because she knows that she's going to be put in that role, and she doesn't know if she's going to like live or die. She just knows like what her life is going to be like, but she just feels so insecure about herself, and that she's not this like great person, because Ellis and Clover are like, no, you're this, like, you help us with everything, and she just like feels like nothing because they seem to be getting such a great reaction over their experiments, while she herself is just deteriorating, and she's acting like that everything is fine when everything's not fine. While at these parties, she's just being paraded around, like doing tarot card readings, and it's really heartbreaking as someone who also does suffer from imposter syndrome. But I really do think this was like a good book to read. I just unfortunately don't want to keep it on my shelves. It's not something I'm definitely going to reread. I will find a lovely home for her. At least I'll try to. But I just wanted to come on here and be more specific with my thoughts on this book, because this book deserves so much praise, because even though it unfortunately did have poor sentence structure, I do think that some parts of this book were needed to be said. There were some good quotes in this book that I took home. Like, I even have it like written in my journal around here somewhere, because they were really good. And I hope, I think the author has another book out that I might check, but like I said, I wanted to come on here and discuss my thoughts a little bit more coherently.